Perfect. Okay, hi guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm not sure if all of you know who I am yet, so I'll do a quick little introduction. But my name is Danielle Jimenez, and I am actually one of Hope's first distributors. I have been in this business now since October of 2015, so about 2.5 years, maybe a little bit more. And I am a diamond leader with ItWorks. And so tonight I just kind of wanted to hop on here and go over following up with you guys because this is something that's really crucial to the success of your business. And especially for all of our newbies getting started, I think that it's a really important topic for us to cover just because I think it gets lost in translation sometimes that like the most vital thing that we can do is follow up with all of our potentials. Like, yes, posting is important. Yes, messaging is important. And yes, being consistent with those things and adding new people is an important aspect. But following up is another huge part of this. And the reason why myself and Hope and mass enrollers, mass enroll. I'm not a mass enroller, but like people who are mass enrollers, it's literally the follow-up that does it. So first, I want to start off by talking to you guys about like, why do we follow up? So we follow up because 70 to 90% of the sales that you're going to make are going to be from your fifth contact or more. So that means you need to be in contact with somebody about the business or about the products at least 5 times before they're going to commit to ordering from you or joining your team. So I think that's a very important thing to remember, especially as somebody who's messaging a ton of people. We hear a lot of, nobody's joining my team, everybody's telling me not right now, or I can't, I need to wait till this day, and that's fine. The important thing is that when you get people like that, that you don't forget to write them down. So we follow up with people on Fridays. We follow up on Friday because most people get paid on Friday. Now, that was just kind of like the rule of thumb from the time that I started and probably even way before that. Like probably way before Hope and Nick and everybody else started. But literally like the rule of thumb was every Friday, you're going to follow up with anybody who you've ever talked to about the business or the products. So I've actually kind of changed that up a little. I actually follow up a few times throughout the week now. By breaking it up, it kind of helps. So I start my follow-ups usually on Wednesday night, and then I continue them Thursday and then going on into Friday, so that hopefully by Friday, come payday, I get more people that are signing up on the spot. You know, I kind of remind them about it prior to payday, and that seems to have been working really well for me. You just kind of have to find a system that works for you. So who are you going to follow up with? You're literally going to follow up, like I said before, with anybody you've ever talked to about this business, anybody who you've ever talked to about the products. I don't care if previously they stopped responding to you, or maybe they said they needed to think about it, or maybe they said they just weren't sure. You're going to want to follow up with everybody unless they've given you a specific date. So that's my only exception, is that I don't follow up with people on Friday, say it's Friday the 15th, and they've told me payday for them is going to be that following Tuesday. So what is that, like 16th, 19th? So if they told me, hey, I get paid on Tuesday the 19th, I'm not going to follow up with them on Friday the 15th. I'm going to wait until Friday the 19th. Tuesday the 19th, excuse me, to follow up with them. So how do you get dates? So this is going to be one of the important keys for following up with people. Is you want to make sure that when you're talking to all of your potentials and your loyals that, potential distributors, and potential loyal customers, that you get dates from them. Now, sometimes they're not going to give you a date. Sometimes they're just going to say, I just need some time, or I need a few days. And you'll say, when's a better time for me to check in? And they'll say, I'll check back in with you. If someone ever says, I will check back in with you, or I will let you know, I just put their name down for like 2 Fridays from now. I just push them out a little bit farther than all my other follow-ups. I still write their name down, and I'm still going to follow up with them. The reason for this is because people, it's not their job to remember to text you or to get in contact with you about something. It's your job as the distributor to remind them, hey, you were interested in this really great product, or hey, I still have a spot open on my team and I know how much this could help you. I know how much this could help your family. I'd love to help you get started. They're not going to make it a priority in their mind to reach out to you. Very rarely have I ever had somebody come back to me before, when they said they would, before I reached back out to them. So just get in that mindset of it's my job to do that. Now, I know that when you're new, following up can be something kind of scary. It can be intimidating. You can feel like, I don't want to be bugging everybody. I don't want to be annoying and bug my friends. And the thing to remember is that you guys are business owners now. You own a business, and part of that is reaching out to your potentials. It's reaching out to anyone who's ever shown interest. It's reminding them like, hey, I'm still here. I still have great products, or hey, I'm still here. I still have this great opportunity for you. And the best way that I can put it for you guys is you're just doing the same thing that all business owners do. So regardless of whether or not you were a part of ItWorks, or maybe you're a part of a big company like Target or Nordstrom's, they're doing the same thing. They're just using a different platform. So think about the last time that you went onto Target's website maybe, or the last time you went onto your favorite retailer's website. Maybe you viewed something like a new dress or some new shoes. You took a look at a product. Maybe you added it to your cart. Maybe you didn't. But I guarantee you, if you have shopped with them before, or even if you haven't, if you put your information in, you gave them your information willingly to contact you, like where it says, enter your email, you'll get a 10% off coupon or whatever. So by that contact, now they're going to send you an email like every 3 days, and they're sending you an email in your inbox saying, hey, don't forget, hey, did you forget something in your cart? Hey, we still have this item. It's still in stock. Are you still interested? So that's kind of what I bring it back to, is like, this is what all businesses do. That's how people succeed. And that's how you close the deal on sales. That's how you're going to get people on your team who want to join you, because sometimes, yes, it does take time. They need to think about it. Maybe they weren't ready when you first reached out. Maybe they need to wait till payday, but I've done it. There's been things that like I was like waiting for payday to do, and then I forgot. But had I had a reminder, I wouldn't have. So that's just something to remember, you guys, is that you're a business owner now, and you're not trying to annoy anyone, and keep it funny. So when I go into like messages and stuff, I'm going to kind of go over some of the messages I use when sometimes you feel like it might get a little awkward. And this is something that I think we kind of struggled with before, but after going to conference this year, they kind of talked about keeping it light, like throwing in the humor, so it doesn't sound so much like, hey, can you just buy from me? Are you ready to buy from me? Hey, are you ready? So we'll go over some examples though. The first thing I want to cover before we get into that, though, is getting dates and utilizing a planner or keeping some sort of list. Now, I have this planner here. This is where I keep my information for people who are interested. So earlier we talked about getting dates from people. So when you're talking to potential customers or potential distributors, and they say, hey, I need to wait until payday, or, maybe in a couple weeks when I get a little more money or something, you want to make sure that you're not just like, okay, girl, I'll check in with you later. You want to try and get specific dates nailed down for them. So usually my next message is, okay, well, when's a good time for me to check back in? Or, what day is payday? I'd love to put your name down on my calendar so I don't forget to get back in contact with you. And usually I might say, I'm so forgetful sometimes, LOL. Saying stuff like that, you know, kind of makes it easier, or like, not like, so it doesn't feel like you're being pushy. And I am super forgetful, and there's no way I would remember, you know, the 50 million people that I message every day, what day they're ready to order, unless I wrote them down. So, you know, I always just try to get that date. Once you get the date, now it's up to you how you want to organize your follow-ups. But for me, like I said, I use my planner now. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but on my planner, I have people's names written in on the dates. So like this is for Tuesday today, and I have 2 names in my planner. So those are 2 people I need to follow up with. I usually will write PLC or PDT next to their name, and then I write how I've been in contact with them. So if I've been in contact with them through Instagram, maybe they didn't want to give me their phone number, then I write, you know, IG next to their name. If they're from Facebook, then I'll write FB, or if it's text messaging, then I'll write TXT, so that I'm not trying to have figure out how I've been in contact or where they came from. Most of the time I can tell it's Instagram, because I usually have their Instagram handle, not like an actual name for them. But and then for the PLCs, I try to write down what it was that they were interested in, so I remember like what we were talking about previously, and I don't have to like scroll through all my conversations. So it just makes it quicker. So I usually write down names of like the name, and like I said, the name, PDT, PLC, what they were interested in, and how I've been talking to them. And so I just write down on the days what dates the people gave me. I write their name down that day, so that all I have to do is open my planner today and say, oh, I have 2 PLCs I need to follow up with today. Let me, you know, get out my phone and contact them. Now, if somebody doesn't give me a date, I just put their name down for the next Friday that's coming up, unless it's like tomorrow. So like if I was talking to them on a Thursday, then I'll just put them up. I'll put them down for like not the very next day, but the Friday after that. So 2 Fridays from them. And that's kind of how I keep everything organized in my planner. I've seen people keep like long old lists, so they can just kind of every Friday when they go through and do their follow-ups, they just check them off as they go through them. You can do that too. I used to do that. I used to just keep a list of PDTs and a list of PLCs. Now that we have phone numbers and I've been doing everything that way, it's been a lot easier, because when you get phone numbers, you can actually type in their name and save it, like save it as, you know, Marissa PDT, and then all you have to do is type in PDT through your contacts, and then it'll show up with, you know, everybody who you tagged their last name as PDT. And so that makes it really easy. It's less paper, less writing, it's way faster. And then you can just go from there and scroll down and keep following up with people. So that's how I organize myself. You guys just have to find a system that works for you. The important thing though is that you get organized and you stay organized and you write the information down, because you will forget and you will lose people through the cracks if you're not staying organized. When I first started, I can't tell you how many times that I did not value the importance of staying organized and writing people down, and then I would go through and I'd find someone and I'd message them and they'd be like, oh, I already joined, or I am already ordering from another person. And then it just was kind of like, ugh, if I had just stayed on top of it, then they probably would have joined with me, or they would have ordered from me, you know, and I could have lost my next rock star. I'll never know. So just make sure that you guys, when you are talking to your potentials, that you're getting it, those dates, and you're staying organized. And when you're not getting dates, you're still writing them down so you don't forget. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is my messaging. So for follow-ups, I have the follow-ups I do with people who obviously gave me dates, or who I've had in-depth conversations with, and I know for sure that they were interested in greens and they just couldn't afford it, or I know for sure they were interested in joining up, they just didn't have the money at the time, or they needed to think about it. but I also follow up with any people who have just kind of left me hanging. I know we've all had conversations where you're talking to a potential, you send them information, and then they just stop answering. And you're like, where do I take it from here? So I actually got this from Hope a couple weeks ago, where I had asked her, I said, I don't really know what to say. I have these conversations and I just feel like I don't know what to do. And this is part of like the keeping it light and funny thing. So when somebody, so I actually just did it today. Like the last message I sent somebody, I think, was about what we do. So she had asked me, how do you make money, or, what is it that you do? And I told her I was with ItWorks, gave her the background, and then ended it on the part where I said, basically what I do is blah, blah, blah. Does that sound like something you fit in your schedule? And she never answered. So then my response to her was, hey girl, did I lose you? And I just used the like monkey emoji where he's like covering his eyes, and then the like really nervous face with the sweat. And so anyway, she messaged me back, and like, I don't know why, but that used to be something where I just didn't know what to say when somebody stopped responding. And then she messaged back and she was like, no, I'm so sorry. I thought I responded to you. So that's a really simple way to kind of get the conversation going again when you have those conversations that just kind of like fall off and you're not sure where to go with it. So examples for follow-ups with people who gave you dates and who are actually really interested. I try to keep mine all simple. I used to do a lot of the, I think when we started, like one of the messages that I sent a ton of was like, hey girl, I know you were still interested, or I know you were interested in our amazing hair, skin, and nails. You're seriously gonna love it. Are you ready to get started today? I'd be happy to put your order in. What do you think? Like, and it was just this really long message, and I just like wasn't sure, that like I didn't get very good responses from that. Let's put it that way. I get way more responses now with just sending the simple follow-ups that are just straight to the point, like, hey girl, I'm putting in some orders today. Did you need help getting yours in? Or, hey girl, I've got one spot left for my greens detox. Can I get you started today? So just keeping it really simple is going to be the best way to do it. Now, I will say if you have PDTs who have been ghosting you, you can send different types of follow-ups to try to generate like a response from them. You can send ones that are maybe a little more lighthearted. So I think one of the ones that we had talked about earlier this week, I don't remember if I shared it in all the chats, but there was one I was using the other week for people who hadn't responded to my messages in literally like 2 months, and I had been following up with them like crazy. And I was like, I've already followed up with them twice about the $49 deal, and I don't know how to follow up with them again, and it ends tomorrow, and I don't want them to miss out, but they're not answering. So I think I started it with literally like, okay, girl, so I know you're like 2 seconds from blocking me, but I just had to tell you. And then I went into like really quickly, like the $49 deal to end or to join is going to end, tomorrow. I'd hate for you to miss out. This is such a life-changing opportunity. Are you ready? So like, I still kept it light and like funny and to the point. And I got so many responses of people that were literally like, LOL, I'd never block you, or you're so funny, like not at all. I've just been really busy. So sometimes when you say things like that, it kind of like prompts something in people where they're like, they realize, oh, I keep meaning to text her back, but I've been forgetting. So keeping it lighthearted like that. I think Hope had one time where she was like, I know you're so sick, or maybe it was Marissa, I can't remember. Someone had one that said like, I know you're probably so sick of seeing my messages in your inbox. And just stuff like that. Yeah, just being like honest, because I mean, that you've been messaging this person and they haven't been responding, but they've been reading it, and they probably are sick of it, or maybe they're not, you don't know. But keeping it lighthearted, like that, it really prompts them to respond back to you, because then they realize like, oh, I've been ignoring this person, I should probably answer them. Or they realize that they keep forgetting about you and not responding and when they meant to. So and then in regards to there was one other category of people for following up with that I wanted to go over. Oh, that's right. The other way you can follow up with people who have been like ghosting you for a while, specifically like your potential distributors, is maybe saying something a little more heartfelt. So in your distributor conversations, you should always be getting people's why, finding out why they want to join, what it is that the extra money is going to do for them. So sometimes it's, it's going to help them pay off debt. Sometimes it's going to help them with their families. Sometimes it's going to allow them to stay home with their babies. Maybe it's a single mom, whatever it is. Bring that up in your follow-ups, just reminding them why they were interested and what the business can do for them. And it might turn out to be a little bit longer of a follow-up, but that's okay. Sometimes people just need to be reminded why they were drawn to the business and what this can do for them. And that's going to, prompt them to respond and let them know. And so I usually always end my follow-ups the same way we end every other message we send, which is with a question. So like if it's a potential loyal, it's like, are you ready to get your order in? Would you like me to help you get your order in? Can we get your order placed today, etc. When it's a potential distributor, I change it up from, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to change your life? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? And different questions like that. So, and if you ever need help, with a follow-up, or you're not sure if it sounds okay, just like with everything we do, send your screenshots or send, the follow-up maybe you were thinking of doing in the chat, and we'll let you know what we think. And then, another one Marissa was saying was like, were you interested in making extra money? Which is something that's something else also that you can add at the end of your question. So I think that's all I had for you guys tonight. I think I was just going to end it on reading one of my favorite statistics. I think I share it all the time, but it's my favorite takeaway that I got from when we went to conference, and it's actually pretty eye-opening. Let me just pull it up for you guys. Okay, so 48% of salespeople never follow up. 25% will follow up one time and then stop. 12% will follow up twice, and only 3% will follow up more than 5 times. And 80% of all sales are made on the 5th to 10th contact. So that means only 3% of people are going to be successful and secure that sale, because that's the amount of people that are going to follow up 5 or more times to get that sale. So that's one of my favorite things, like statistics to reference back on, because it just shows how important following up is. Another thing you can do actually that they were talking about at conference, now that I'm in these notes, was talking about sending people voice messages. So I know for Facebook and iPhone, you can send voice messages via text. So sometimes when you just use your voice memos to send out your follow-ups, it comes out more personal and people might respond better to that. So if you feel comfortable doing that, then I would definitely suggest doing the voice messages for follow-ups. Let's see.
And you can forward them, so you don't have to send it over and over again. Or record it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really nice. Just make sure that, you're not saying people's names like, hey, Karina, I wanted to know if you're still interested to join my team, and then forwarding that to 10 people that aren't named Karina. And then the other thing is Rachel Jones was one of the people that did she did a little spiel at conference, and she was talking about how you just have to get over the fact that you're going to be annoying. You just really have to get over it. I know sometimes it's a hard concept to get in your mind, but you want to make sure that you're following up and just with being lighthearted, be as funny as you can. Some of them say that some of the people that were up there on stage at conference were saying they were sending gifts and making jokes when people stopped responding. Like the one where like those of you who've seen Finding Nemo, and what's her name with the headgear? I can't remember her name. She's like tapping on the glass and she's
Darla.
like, yeah, Darla.
That sounds right. Maybe.
I think so. I think that's her name. But like sending that.
I always forget I'm muted. Darla.
Yeah. And they were saying just make it a joke. And one of them was saying she sends like, hey girl, did you get abducted by aliens? Like, and she said she gets a lot of good responses because people just like, they laugh. They think it's funny. I know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I could be that brazen, but yeah. Anyways, so does anyone have any questions or anything that they wanted to add or they want to go over? What, Zoe? No. Okay. Well, thank you guys for getting on. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know that this was recorded. I think Nick or Hope will have to be the one to post it, but it will get posted. So you can go ahead and tag your teams in it once it goes up into Chasing Diamonds. And thanks for joining me, you guys. Everybody have a great night.
Bye.